Welcome Mary Berner, President and Chief Executive Officer of MPA.
Good morning, everyone. I am delighted you're all here, and for those of you in the back, there's some seats up here if you want to sit up here. We are going to put on a great conference with interesting speakers, and we're going to cover really important stuff. I am, it is, they are, and we will, and now that's the end of the official welcome. Okay, so let's cut right through it. I'm going to say something that's going to surprise you. What I'm going to say is that there's never been a better time to be in the business of magazine-branded media. Now, sure, it's a time of transition, but if you ignore the pundits and the potshots and focus on the unique strengths of the industry, you'll see why this statement is true. Now, just a few years ago, the buckets of what comprised media were clear and defined by specific formats, usually a single method of distribution. A magazine was a printed periodical with articles, photographs, and advertisements with a beginning and an end, and distributed through the mail or sold on newsstand. In fact, the always provocative Bo Sachs noted that it wasn't too long ago that Publishing Executive magazine proclaimed that if it isn't in print, it isn't a magazine. Today, it's a rare publication that doesn't deliver its content to its readers on and through multiple platforms, and through an increasingly wide range of formats, written words and pictures and video. Now, according to the AAM, just 3 years ago, only 51% of publishers were distributing their content on mobile devices. That number is now 90%, with the remaining 10% scheduled to develop optimized mobile optimized content before the year is out. It is no longer accurate or even appropriate to talk about ourselves exclusively as magazines, which to most people connotes just print, because it does not begin to measure our reach. Instead, we and others in the press, the advertising community, and Wall Street, for starters, need to think about and calculate and interpret the entire business and footprint of magazine media. Because for our readers, their desire for magazine-branded content transcends any one platform. Okay, so you're all thinking, maybe thinking, so what? All media distribute content across lots of platforms. What makes magazine media so special? Why do I believe that magazine media will not only survive, but flourish in this wild west of a media landscape when so many others think our best days are behind us? I'm going to give you 6 reasons. Reasons informed by a huge range of third-party consumer behavior insights, proprietary research from our member companies, and analysts and allied associations. 6 reasons why it is the best time right now to be in the business of magazine media. The reasons are powerful brand relationships, growing consumer demand, advertising wantedness, print appeal, digital opportunity, and content is still king. Now, starting with powerful brand relationships, all media are fighting in an attention economy. Competition for audience and advertising has never been fiercer, which is why the trusting and enduring relationships that magazine brands have with our consumers give us such an edge. Magazine media, which is usually, not always, but usually anchored in print, enjoy a unique brand equity that is built from the convergence of content and community around specific interests and passions of readers. Now, this is an important distinction because as our words and our pictures and our stories travel across platforms, they carry with them highly engaged consumers who trust and look for our brands and will pay for our content. Now, in fact, magazine-branded apps are among the highest-grossing iPad apps sold on iTunes. 9 of the 10 top lifestyle apps, 6 of the top 10 food and drink apps, 8 of the top 10 health and fitness apps, and 6 of the top 10 highest-grossing news apps. They're all magazine apps. Now, I've always loved working in the magazines, but in a past life I must have been a teacher because I cannot resist a pop quiz. So now we're going to do a little pop quiz. Okay, how many magazines have thrived for over 50 years? Who thinks it's A? That's good. Who thinks it's D? Okay, who thinks it's C? Who thinks it's B? Actually, the answer is C. 105 magazine brands have been over 50 years, and there's 211 over 25 years. Now, guess how many TV brands can say the same thing? 9. And they're things like Good Morning America. So what percentage of 18 to 34-year-olds who use social media also follow a magazine editor or columnist on Twitter? The answer is 56. And more than half have retweeted a magazine editor's tweet. Number 3, what percentage of consumers, this is brand new research, went to a digital newsstand in search of a specific magazine media brand? The number is an astounding 79%. And that indicates our branded content is a destination purchase on newsstands. Now, as I said earlier, we're competing in an attention economy, and it's incredibly hard to build an enduring and profitable brand. However, with the tsunami of content that's available to consumers now, magazine brands are not only holding their own, we are growing our audiences. Which brings me to reason number 2. Despite what you've been reading, magazine media don't have an audience problem. In fact, with the ability to expand the delivery of our content beyond print, magazine audiences have actually grown over the past 2 years. Consumers are decidedly not abandoning magazines. They are reading their magazines where, when, and how they choose. And with the rapid adoption of mobile reading, the movement between and among devices by magazine readers will just continue. So let's check the industry's vital signs. The audience for magazine media, both print and tablet, is up 1.6%. The print audience alone is up 1.3%, and tablet audiences grew 47.5%. The magazine media audience for print online is also up 3%. And paid subscriptions grew nearly 1% in the second half of 2012 over the prior year. And by the way, newsstand, while still down, still gets reported as the barometer for our health of our entire industry, despite the fact that it accounts for only 10% of the total paid circulation. And its decrease reflects a secular brick-and-mortar retail trend. So I can't stress how important it is to keep newsstand statistics in proper perspective. And these data do not represent just a bunch of old people. Magazine media boost undisputed appeal for all age groups. In fact, 91% of adults 18 plus read magazines. How about the younger crowd? Magazine media has never been more popular among younger people, with 96% of 18 to 24-year-olds reading print magazines, a higher number than 18 plus. And not only that, adults under 25 read more print digital magazines per month than adults of all ages. So, as I said, we clearly do not have a consumer problem. What we do have is a perception problem among certain segments of advertising communities. Which brings me to 3, advertising wantedness. That's despite the fact that, unlike other media, consumers not only like, trust, and engage in magazine media, they actually want it, along with the content. They want it to be part of the experience. Now, this dual immersion is unique to the magazine media industry. Unlike TV or other media, where the advertising keeps you away from the content you are looking for, in magazines, it's actually wanted. Now, this is duplicated in only one other place that I can think of in the media landscape. Does anybody know what that is? You get a free subscription to your favorite magazine if you guess. Okay, it's Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the one thing that, if you think about it, everybody goes to watch the game and the commercials, but that's how it is for every magazine experience. So it should be no surprise that magazines rank #1 among consumers as their most preferred place to see and engage with ads, and that's across multiple studies. In about 2 months, the broadcast networks will spend millions of dollars treating advertisers to all the shrimp they can eat and all the propaganda they can bear at their annual upfront proms. Their hope is to convince advertisers to invest in TV, despite another year of falling ratings, including, according to Variety last week, record low ratings for some of their shows. Like I said before, we, unlike television, don't have an audience problem. We have a perception problem. I think maybe we ought to serve some more shellfish, and maybe that perception will go away. The broadcast networks are beating their chests over their increasingly diminishing medium. What we can say, magazine media, are proud to say that our print business remains a distinctive and invaluable asset, which brings us to reason 4. Print appeal. Print magazines will continue to be a desirable platform for both readers and advertisers, as it provides a tactile and immersive experience. unique to magazine media. With print, the power is firmly within the reader's hands, and the relationships that develop are both intimate and emotional. Now, despite all the hoopla about print magazines closing, 195 new titles were launched in 2012, an increase of 7% over 2011, which significantly outpaces closures at 82. Even purely digital content players have expanded into print, recognizing the value of that format to develop and enhance consumer relations. So for your consideration, you've got the Not.com, launched Not Magazine. You have Guilt with Du Jour magazine and Net-a-Porter with a print title coming this fall. These digital properties are strengthening their consumer connection through print because they know that it works. Excluding those who have been busted for shoplifting, arrested for DUI, or caught in a sex scandal, I challenge you to name one celebrity, politician, or business leader who does not covet the cover of a print magazine. While many consumers enjoy their content on screens, there are plenty of readers who will continue to prefer the hands-on control print gives them. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but number 5 is digital opportunity. As you all know, digital and mobile media provide a huge opportunity for our business to engage and expand our brand communities even more deeply than we already do in print. In fact, consumers reading magazine digital editions increased 44% in 2012. Now, while it's still early days for magazines on tablets, remember the iPad only launched in April of 2010. Initial research from leading publishers indicates that reader engagement levels on tablets are either equal to or better than print. Equal to or better than print with regard to both content and advertising. And let me remind you that our industry has been exceptionally successful in creating recurring revenue streams. We are pretty good at this model, especially when you consider that in 2011, there were nearly 283 million magazine subscriptions in circulation, an incredibly impressive number, particularly when you consider the fact that the US population is just a little under 314 million. And we fully expect that our subscription expertise will be deployed just as profitably across, and this is what we're seeing, many digital platforms as it has in print. And finally, indulge me, content is still king. I have found over far too many years than I care to admit that it's always been a good time to be working the magazine media business. I love magazines, and we don't just report the news, we make it. We shape the conversation and drive the culture. Sometimes it's ahead of the zeitgeist. Remember, maybe you do or don't remember this article, Not Just Another Prom Night. It was a story about a same-sex couple going to the prom. This didn't appear in 2010. It was in 1992 in Glamour. It's about the way we tell stories and entertain readers. It's about the authority and trust. Check out morning television. Flip the channels, MSNBC, NBC, CNN. Who are the experts? They're from magazine media. Where do you expect to find groundbreaking long-form journalism? Magazines, of course. Think about Steve Brill's story on healthcare in Time, or Anne-Marie Slaughter's essay on women's work in the Atlantic, and Lawrence Wright's reporting on Scientology in the New Yorker, stories that are unique to magazine media, told in a way that only magazine media can tell them. And they have ignited the cultural conversation and even sometimes societal change. And what the hell would Page 6 do without the magazine media industry? So I joined MPA 6 months ago because I believe in the future of magazine media. With MPA leading the charge, we are working together as an industry with laser-like focus to address and seize the opportunities ahead of us. First, our CTOs are working together on standards that will allow for vast improvement in the marketing, development, and delivery of our digital product. Our consumer marketers, heads of sales, research directors, and publishers are working together with our key stakeholders, most notably the advertising community, to determine the best ways to track, analyze, and measure magazine audience, as well as engagement across the whole footprint. Our corporate PR leaders are working together to communicate a more accurate narrative of magazine media across all platforms to the press, Wall Street, investors, and partner constituencies. And our CEOs are convening regularly, recognizing that while we want to move quickly together as an industry, it is equally as important that we are smart about how we do, what we do, and how we do it. So, thank you all for coming. I do believe this is a really good time to be in the magazine media business. All of you in this room, as you'll see today, you are innovating, you are creating, you are enhancing and answering the consumer call for multi-platform content. It's all of you in this room that are making our footprint bigger and the magazine media brand experience more dimensional, more immediate, and more available when, where, and how our consumers choose. So enjoy the conference, and thank you. I'd like to introduce Ethan Gray, Vice President Digital of MPA. Thank you.